Hello and welcome everybody to League of Europe Division 4 here, Season 9, as we're going around 10 at Portugal this time out. First time on this game, so be very interesting to see how this is going to go. I'm here, QVR Verstappen. Packer is once again not here. He likes to do that every now and then. So filling in for him once again is QVR Chill.
Yes, I've still not been paid from the last two streams, but hopefully this track will be better to watch than it was to drive just now, and hopefully the standards of driving will be a little bit better than what I just experienced. Otherwise, we could see a safety car on a track where there's basically no walls to crash into. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully the driving standards will be a little bit better. We saw last week in Imola it was not amazing, it has to be said. Most reports for one division we've ever had. So yeah, 17, that's quite a lot. Which meant that Polypus ended up taking the victory after Maverick got a pen for his collision with Evil Dragon. And it also means that we have two people with erased bans, that being Serial Killer and Marcy. So they will be sitting out there. And two people with qualifying bans as well. Racing tonight will be Iconix, obviously third in the standings currently. Get onto that in a second. And then also Axel, who is currently 11th in the standings as well, serving a qualifying ban. So that's a bit less competition to start out with, and let's hope that the racing itself will be a lot cleaner this time out. Yeah, we'll have to see. Leading the standings, this is Polypus on 179 points, 40 points ahead of Jordan, who's another 42 points ahead of Iconix. As the top two have been very consistent. Jordan getting a bit unlucky last time out, just with getting some damage. I think floor damage, sidepod damage, and everything, and he still managed to get some points. So keep it on the track, you still get something going. As we're heading on to qualifying now, he'll be hoping to bounce back from that race this time out.
Yeah, I've not been here for a while, so I'm not sure who's at the top. I think I've seen Poldepose seems to have a lot of points on the board, so I'd expect him to be up there still. I know Old School had a decent outing last time, so it'd be nice to see if he can keep up that performance and keep going with that. And what was it, Maverick? Maverick's racing again. Did he win last week and then had it taken away on pens?
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll see if he can go up there again.
Yeah, he's obviously been one of the quickest, and I expect him to maybe challenge. He could still challenge for the title. He's in fourth place with 92 points, but considering that he's only raced half the races so far, under half actually, but there were two sprint rounds in it, so kind of equalizes to half, I guess. Yeah, it's definitely a chance for him to still challenge Polypus at the front. And we'll have to see if he's going to be able to take some points away again this time out. Other than that, we saw Bram obviously was very quick last time out. He can't race today, but yeah, he's obviously going to be near the top as well. So second half of the season looking quite exciting as we see the first cars out on track just only now. I'm just going to check the chat potentially. Normally it takes a while for people to go out if there's some sort of rain. So we'll have to see, just looking at it. Nope, we have a wet race. So, not sure what's going on. There's a few saying there's some bugs going on, and I'm hoping that is not affecting everyone here.
Yeah, that'd be a bit of a shame. I mean, this track is, I think someone's off down at turn 1 there, just after turn 1. I think that's Mark or Old School. But the track is very difficult on some of these traction zones, so we'll see how people get on with it in quali, because it can be a bit of an omen as to what goes on in the race after.
Yeah, I think it's just a joke. To be honest, it's see if Robert is actually going out for a lap. He just went a bit wide at turn 1 there, and he's invalidated that. So that's not a great start for him. But yeah, I think there is a wet race going on, so that could be quite exciting. We saw in Japan there's a lot of good racing because of it going on, and let's hope that is the case here as well. So Evil Dragon is the next one to start his lap, heading out towards turn 1. You want to brake around 75 here, turn in right, 6th gear. Quite a lot of speed carried through. And at the white line at the left hand side, you can brake. In a difficult traction zone for 3 and 4 up the hill. So we see Evil Dragon 22.6 in the first sector. See some improvements later on. Then towards turn 5 into the second sector with a bit of a roller coaster part here, you could say. Turn 6 and back down the hill for 7, nearly flat, lift off a little bit, and up the hill back for 8. Again, if you have no traction control, that's going to be very difficult for you tonight. As we go through turn number 9 and then the double right of 10 and 11. Important to get the exit right here, very easy to lose it once again. 53-3, not too bad actually by Evil Dragon. So you go for 11 and out 12. As the last few corners quite slow. And important to get the exits right once again. So he's going for 14 and then the flat out corner of turn 15. Getting close to the apex now. Running out wide, doesn't really matter where you go, as he has actually run out of ERS, and across the line in 1:18.9. It's not too bad of a lap time, I think.
No, it's not too bad actually. Boulder Post is on our lap. He's just gone purple in the middle sector, so current championship leader. We'll see what sort of lap time he sets.
Yeah, he's about 5 tenths up on Evil Dragon here, and let's hope he can continue that through down towards the final corner, final sector. See how much, if he's going to be able to maybe even break into the 17s. Not quite yet, 18.2. I think that's the sort of aim other drivers will be having as well. Ecos Mats is the next one, I think, coming across the line. 18.5, so a couple tenths off. And then I think it's Old School next at 20.1, so he's a bit off. Maverick is going to the top there, 17.999. And Esteban slots into P4 with one of the Red Bull, I think, Energetics just starting his lap.
Yeah, so like Jess is the only one who's gone out on the mediums, switching it up a little bit. I mean, she's not going to need them for the race if it's going to be wet, but might as well just use all the softs as well in that case, because you won't be using the softs in the race either.
I'm guessing it's just maybe she's picked a harder tyre selection, and then it's just
potentially,
yeah, a case of using the mediums and then the softs on the next runs, I guess. We'll have to see if that's going to translate over. But yeah, Maverick out on top early on, 17.9, a very strong time so far. Seeing, looking around if anyone else is on the lap. Swift is invalid. And Energetics is not going too slow. Not seeing too much of him this season. I don't know, he's just kind of been invisible. A 55 flat, not too quick. As he's exploring the track limits a little bit here. I'm not too sure what's going on.
A little bit of traffic here for Jordan coming on to start his lap. I think he's getting let through by a Red Bull, but so Jordan coming up to the line now to start a lap. We'll see if he can get close to the top two. He seems to be in that championship battle. But in D3 at least, the times were very close in quali. I think like the top 15 were separated by a second, so there seems to be very little field spread around this track at least.
What to see is he's going through turn 1, turn 2, and then into turn 3. Looking quite steady here by Jordan. Obviously he's looking to get himself up there, a bit of traction loss in the exit there. Let's see, 22.4, says it's purple, I don't know if it is. I saw Evil Dragon do a 0.6 in the first sector, so let's see if Jordan can improve throughout the rest of the lap. Once again looking quite tidy through turn 5, now into 6, and going through down towards 7 and 8. And this exit is very difficult to see. Jordan nearly sideways there on the exit. And yeah, it just shows how much of a traction zone track it is, and how important it is to get those corners right. At times 53.1 is a couple tenths off Poltopus, might be around his teammate actually. Let's see if he can gain some time on Poltopus in the last sector. Should be a fairly strong sector for him. It's going through turn 14 quite nicely. A little bit of a snap, but I don't think it's too bad as we come across the last corner. Let's see where he ends up. Yeah, gets into P3 actually, just ahead of Ecos Mats. And yeah, I don't think he'll be too unhappy with that. There's definitely some time in that lap as well. So just looking at Swip as well. coming across as Energetics went into P8. Swip goes into P7 here with a 19.6. The only one with 19s actually so far. All 20s or 18s, or even 17s in that case.
Yeah, I mean, we might be seeing a bit more of a field spread if it is going to be a wet race with different setups going on. People just saying go quick and quali and see what they can do, or someone who's just gone for a wet setup and is just going to try and get to the end in the race, which could be a bit of a challenge around some of these traction zones in the wet.
Yeah, definitely. I know Evil Dragon is one that is particularly quite quick in the wet, partially because he is running full traction control, I believe. So there is some sort of incentive for him to just be quick. I saw him running quite, just given that he ran out of ERS, I see Jaf just invalidating there through turn number 4 in the exit. But there's quite an incentive for him to be good here. I reckon he'll be right up there as he's on another lap, and we saw him running out of ERS quite early on in the lap as well, which suggests to me that he's running very high wings once again. See Energetics going into P4 actually, so he's slowly but surely improving on his times. Evil Dragon, let's see, he is a good 3.5 tenths up, so he can get himself amongst that group of people that are in the 18.5s currently. So he has a little bit of traffic, actually from his teammates, from Jess, but give a bit of slipstream if coordinated well, but I don't think it's going to be close enough to give anything here. So let's see if Evil Dragon has gained a bit of time on his own through the last sector as he opens up the DRS just across the line. 18.7, no positions gains, but it is 2 tenths. But given he lost a bit of time in the last sector, there is some still possible to be gained for him. I'm just seeing Axel. I hope he knows that he has a quali ban. Just accelerating out of it, but he is going as Ghost UK is actually going to be free.
Yeah, decent up to 18.4 right in the mix towards the top end. Yeah, Maverick just seems to be just a little step above the rest of the field at the moment. Just about cutting into those 0.7s as I say that.
Poltopus 17.7, yeah. And I'm not sure Jordan's going to be very happy seeing that one. Yeah, he's managed to put Poltopus there. Maverick coming across the line to start another lap here. Let's see if he can maybe improve. Seeing Ibo about to cross the line as well. Actually going back into the pits, so no improvement there. Jess is near the end of her lap. She's going through turn 14 and into 15. It's going to be a very important part of the track if we're going to have some traction issues in the race with the wet conditions. She improves to 19.6, just 16 thousandths behind Swip, so very close between them two. Yeah, as I said, that part of the track is going to be very important in the race, because I imagine the wet will be very difficult in some of these tracking zones. Even in the dry it's quite difficult already, so we'll have to see if the drivers can adapt and anticipate on those conditions.
Maverick's on purple sector 1 and sector 2, just about 3 tenths up at the moment, so this would put him just about provisional pole if he can keep this up and match his final sector. He's got a couple more corners to go. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, just accelerating out of 14. It's looking quite tidy. I think he could be among Poltopus here, and maybe if he's gained some time in the last sector, there's some more to gain. Just about ahead, 100th between him and Poltopus in the favor of the American so far, and I think he'll be quite happy with that one. But obviously still one run to go, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Both of them can still improve and get that extra bit of time. I'm just looking at Jordan, who's I think the next one on the lap coming through turn 5. He's accelerating out of it through the kink of 6 and now into 7. This corner can be very difficult to line up, because you have to completely commit for 7 to actually get your car lined up properly for 8. That turn 8 looked a lot better from Jordan than the last time. Let's see, maybe some good improvements here through turn 11 as well. Accelerating out of it, 4 tenths up here. Could be a very decent time for the Mercedes. They come in through turn number 12. Looking very tidy once again. This is looking quite a bit better than it looked last time out. Nearer to the apex there as well. Accelerating out of it now. I think he could get himself into the 17th potentially here, the Scotsman. As he comes across the line, let's see if he is going to be able to do that. DRS open and across the line, 18 flat, so just about off, but definitely ahead of the rest of the pack here.
Yeah, a big thing for me around a track like this is being ahead at this point just before the final run can be so important mentally speaking, because you've got really tough traction zones which we've been over. You've also got the exit of turn 1, or that whole section, turn 1, 2, 3, which is really easy to invalidate in a few other places as well. So if you're ahead going into that final run, you've already got a massive advantage, because the person behind you's got to push that a little bit more and risk losing the rear end or running wide somewhere.
Yeah, that's definitely an important aspect, as we see just Eagles and Mats going up into P5, slightly ahead of Energetics there. But yeah, the mental aspect. If you know you have a banker in the back, you know, you can maybe push just a little bit more and just get that, you know, confidence going. And if you don't have that, you know, let's say currently you're looking at Jav and Robert, who don't have quality bands and haven't set a time yet. You're gonna have to set a valid lap at the end of the session, and you're gonna have to do that. If you invalidate, you're screwed. So that might, you know, not allow someone to push at their absolute maximum, and could be a disadvantage for, you know, someone like Jav in this case, as he is on the lap and just about to start a lap. So maybe he can improve. Just looking around if we have someone else on any laps. Goshike is slightly down in his time through Sector 1. So keep an eye on him as we just scroll through. Ibo is towards the end of his lap, about 31 thousandths up, so could be an improvement for the AlphaTauri driver here. He's coming around the final corner here, 7th gear, and into 8th here. Let's see, 122 flat, so a couple tenths shaved off in the final sector as well. That's very good for Mibo, and hopefully he can compete, keep in the race long enough. We'll have to see, and get some points potentially. Goes UK towards the end of his lap, 2 tenths up. Let's see what he can do.
He looked very quick for the middle. I think it was purple. He was around 2 tenths up through there, but it's a 3-tenth improvement overall, 3.5 tenths. So he's just off the end of that 1.17.
Oh, just gonna cut in there. Old School is about a second up here, and maybe more time to get in the final sector as well. We'll have to see. Let's see the Irishman coming around the final corner. He's in P10 currently. Let's see if he can improve and get himself maybe into the top 5. I think it's possible if he's that much up. And coming around into across the line. And yes, he's into P5 here. So perfect prediction there for me. Not taking any credit, but yeah. Also into P5. I'll be happy with that one, I think. But I don't think he has enough time to do another lap. So you have 2 minutes remaining into the session.
Oh, just seen someone off the track there scrolling through us. Jav, he's had a moment, the final corner. I think he's coming in anyway. Actually, might have been starting a lap, in which case that's disastrous.
He's going to try anyway. He has a lap set at least, so at least he's making sure he's not, you know, in front of the guys who have a quality ban or behind them.
Yeah, he's gone again.
Seen anything? Oh, well, at least he's ahead of Axel and iConnect in that case, and maybe Robert, if he doesn't manage to set a lap. Just looking around, most people just starting a lap. Ghost UK is coming in, so I don't think he's going to set any more laps as well. It's quite busy in the final sector here. I hope no one is actually on the lap, but this is very crowded here between the Alfa Romeo and then both McLarens and both Haas drivers. Obviously, Old School's going to come in, so maybe he's going to give some slipstream to his teammate, who knows. But I think we're looking at the Alfa Romeo Photopus to try and get ahead of Maverick onto the final run, down into turn 1, 5th gear, hold that. As Old School's retired into the pits. Let's see if the Belgian can improve here. A bit of a look up through turn 3. So heading up towards turn 4. Let's see if there's an improvement here for the Belgian. And there is a minor improvement there, just under a tenth. Let's see if he can carry that through into the second sector, coming through turn 5, accelerating out of it quite nicely, and through 6th and out 7 and 8 is a very important section. down to third gear even, fourth gear back up in the exit, fifth gear there, so quite nicely short shifted, and it looks like the traction is there for Poltopus as he's coming through turn 10 and 11, fourth gear, fifth gear on the exit once again, 52 freeze, a 10th up, and this could be pole position for him. Just gonna look where Maverick is, he is about 600s up as he's coming through the second sector split as well, and he's 2/10 up, so it looks like Maverick is the favourite here, but I have to see if he can carry it through for the final sector. With Poltopus coming around the final corner, let's see what this is going to be for the Belgian. Across the line is 17.5. Is that good enough? As we see two of the McLaren Evil Dragon into P5. Jess is going to come into P11, and then is Robertson, who's not able to set a valid lap. Maverick across the line, he improves to 17.4. That's a great lap from Maverick.
Yeah, that is pretty quick. We've got Jordan coming to the line now as well. He looks about a 10th up. He goes 17.9. That should solidify his third place on the grid. Mats is almost 2/10 up on his lap, so he could jump up a few places, potentially up to fourth with a good final sector.
You have to see he's coming around that final sector as we speak. And let's see if he can maybe get himself on the second row with his teammates. He's fighting a few tenths in the final sector for that. Let's see if he can do that. 18.3 into P6, not bad at all for Ecos Mats. And looking at Steven and Energetics, I think that is everyone done. And very impressive laps by the top two here. Quite a bit clear of the rest of the grid, I have to say.
Yeah, that is quite a substantial jump. But I'm not sure who's running wet setup, dry setup, so it could be that both of them have gone for a setup that'll be slightly quicker in the dry, and then we'll just have to see what happens in the race if it is going to be wet.
Yeah, I'll have to see. And how wet is it going to be? Is it going to be fully wet? Maybe just partially. That is very important as well. But yeah, Maverick and Poltopus looking out that front row ahead of Jordan and Ghost UK. And Evil Dragon, if it is fully wet, I'm expecting good things from him. Equals Mats in P6, and then Old School and Energetics just sharing a fourth row behind that. Steban and Swip running up the top 10, with Justin Ibo in 11th and 12th. Jav in 13th, last one to set a lap time, with Axel, Iconex, and then Roberts, who's actually not set a lap time at all. But Axel and Iconex having a qualifying ban, so they are going to be at the back anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that is really quite a big field spread. Of the guys who did manage to get a time on the board, about 4.5 seconds across the entire grid there. So hopefully it's a bit closer in the race, with the weather potentially playing a factor in that. We won't have DRS for overtaking opportunities, but from what I've heard and seen from, I think it was Japan when it rained, it looked like some of the D4 drivers found some interesting places to get past in some trickier conditions.
Definitely saw quite a few moves up into Dunlop, which is not the usual overtaking spots you'd say. The end of the SS, that is quite a ways to go. And let's see how wet it is. Maybe it's going to start off dry, you never know. That is definitely not the case. That is definitely full wet we're starting off with. Let's see if that's going to continue on for the rest and the remainder of the race. And yeah, this is going to be very tricky. Obviously, Maverick and Poltopus were very quick in the dry, but if that's not going to carry over to the wet, I mean, it's kind of useless at that point. So I'll have to see if that is going to be able to do. If we're going to get some transitional conditions as well, could maybe go into or even dries towards the end. Who knows? I'll have to see. Yeah, this could be a very exciting race, and I think Jordan is hoping that he can carry some of that, disadvantage. For 40 points behind currently, he can carry that a bit back and get maybe within a race win if all goes well for him, or at least a few points closer. And yeah, I think just going to confirm everyone is on the full wets. I don't know if it even allows you. I think it allows you to switch to the inters if you want to, but yeah, it's full wets to start off with anyway. We'll have to see if that carries on through the remainder of the race, and see who's going to be the quickest here.
Yeah, hopefully the weather does shift up a little bit, because I feel like full wets especially, it can get quite difficult to have cars following each other super closely. just from like seeing braking points, downforce around corners, we're already going to have much more trouble having to shift all that water through the tyres. So hopefully there is a little bit of a change. We can see a few people going in a bit earlier for some inters or hanging it out and seeing if they can get an overcut. So hopefully it's not full wet all the way through, or if it is, then hopefully we'll see something going on, because I have a bad feeling this could just be very single file.
It could very well be. Then again, it's D4, and I don't think I've ever seen a completely single file race here. So I don't know about that one. But definitely the potential of a safety car is now massively increased. So I guess the walls are pretty far off the track here, but there's a few places where you can definitely spin out of exit of turn 8. There's a wall on the right hand side if you go a bit too far. So we see Maverick doing a beautiful almost 360. He's not managed to complete it, so that's a bit poor from him. But I have to see if he can get that done. He must have at least had the tyres warmed up now, so that should not be an issue. Just hoping it's not too hot.
Yeah, going for that Meta 360, get the tyres perfect, ready to go. Expect him to be at least 3 seconds ahead by the end of Sector 1 now.
Yeah, if it's not done, then there has to be a failure from the Americans. We see Jav going around as well. Just gonna line up towards the grid. Any predictions here for the top 3?
I think I'm gonna say Polder Pose, Jordan, and Evil Dragon in that order.
Right, let's see if that's gonna come through. And so we're waiting for the lights to go on and out. So just the last few drivers lining up there. There we go. 3, 4, and 5 red lights. And away we go for the Portuguese Grand Prix, and let's see who has the best starts. This is looking very, very sluggish from this perspective, but it looks like Maverick has got away pretty well. Ghost UK is up into P3. So we have a few drivers with a pretty shocking start at the back here. So we're looking at mostly Evil Dragon, who's down into P11 here. He's trying to get back through. So we have 3 wide going on the hairpin up front here. Iconex from basically the back is already up into P7, so great start from him. And then it's Ghost UK. He's on the grass, on the straight, and I don't know how he's managed that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure how Iconex has gained 8 places in a sector, but he's done it. So that's a very good start from him there, up to 7th.
Well, he's getting alongside Mats here, as we see Energetics and Ghost UK going side by side up ahead as well. Iconex trying to get alongside, bit of contact, just about keeps it out of the wall. I say that. Jeez. I was on board with him, and that did not look very fun there. Jav is up into P8. That's a great start from him as well, but we see that Maverick has pulled out a second gap at the front. Polderpus about a second behind that, with Jordan another second and a half behind. And then it's this train of Ghost UK, Energetics, Massive, and Iconex. Evil Dragon fighting for P12 currently. Just gonna have to see how this is gonna go. But if Iconex has gained that much time early on, who knows that he can gain even more as he gets alongside for the final corner. Alongside Eagles and Mats, let's see if he can keep that one stick. Maverick fast lap the race. Iconex is through into P6, and I'm expecting big things from him. Spoltopus has dropped off a little bit, and Jordan is now looking for a move. He's a bit too far back to do that. Iconex and Mats still side by side here, but I think Iconex is just going to keep that bit of wheel-to-wheel banging both of them off the track here. As they returned in, and Iconex is into P6. Robert's losing a few positions here, so they're still busy through this little section, the snail section almost, I'd call it. And let's see if this is going to continue going. Evil Dragon alongside Axel here down towards turn 5. Can he get that one stick? Axel's looking for a move himself on the inside of Steban, but it looks like Evil Dragon's going to be able to get around the outside. This Jav is spun and Steban is collective within it. So Evil Dragon is up to P8, and Jav is all the way down in 16th now, with Steban down in 11th, and just getting side by side with Robertson. Just about commits enough there that he holds onto that position. Old School and Swip side by side through turn 8 as well there. Let's see who's going to come out there the best. It looks like the Irishman is just about ahead, but Swip is keeping his nose in. I don't think he's going to be able to stick alongside. He is actually. But on the exit, it looks like Old School has the advantage once again. and is going to be able to commit on the left-hand side and is taking a P12. Meanwhile, at the front, we're seeing Maverick on a 3.6 lead, and I don't think there's much challenge in it for now. As Goshike is getting up the back of Jordan here. So you see 32.8. I'm just going to look at the fastest lap difference here. He has about 2 seconds. Goshike is a bit quicker than these two currently. So he could maybe, if he can get past them too, he could maybe challenge Maverick a bit more. So you see Steven into the pits. Definitely some wing damage from him in that contact with Jav. And he's going to be having to do it from the back of the grid.
Yeah, I think Portugal must have made a mistake somewhere on that last lap, because he had a second, just over a second, I think, behind him to Jordan, and he's only a second off Maverick, so he must have had a mistake somewhere and just hasn't really recovered from it and just got stuck here holding up Jordan Ghost.
Sorry, Steban has gone onto intermediate tires. Is this suggesting some sort of weather change? I don't know, as Goshike is trying to get alongside Jordan through turn 8. It's be a fantastic move if he can pull that one off, but the traction on the outside seems a little bit better for Jordan. He is able to commit there, maybe down towards turn 10, 11, as he almost gets side by side there. It looks like Ghost has backed out quite smartly there. Jordan trying to pull out the defensive moves here, and does that quite nicely. So Jav has got back past Ibo, and is now hunting down towards Jess and Swip, about 1.8 ahead. I have to see, Goshike still trying to get alongside Jordan, can't find a gap for now. Maybe on the exit of turn 14 he is able to do something.
Yeah, he's looking a lot more confident. As I say, that massive slide through the final holds on to it, but he's going to lose a couple of places there.
Yeah, as we see Eagles Mass and Evil Dragon basically side by side here. But it looks like Evil Dragon, what I suggested before, and look at that, fastest lap of the race. But it looks like he has so much downforce on that car. If only he didn't mess up the start, there would have been a lot more incentive for him to be at the front. Swip is into the pits as well. Potentially wing damage, I imagine. Maybe his intermediate tires. I'm just going to check if he is changing his wing, or that it's just purely for the inters. No, he's going for the wets and a wing change. So I don't know if Steven's plan is working. We'll have to keep an eye on his times. But I don't know if this is going to be too good, as we see Maverick almost a 5-second lead, and we're not even at the end of lap 4.
Yeah, I think iConnect is doing his best little preview to what we're going to see tomorrow from Verstappen in the actual race, going from 15th up to 5th within 4 laps. I'll see if we've got a yellow flag. That is for Jav again, I think.
Yep. Must have been... I don't know how he's lost it there. Have come into contact with someone? Not too sure. So you see Evil Dragon very close to Matt once again, trying to get a switchback out of turn 12. Now into 14, sorry. See if he's going to be able to get alongside. Trying to accelerate out of it quite nicely. Of course, with a full traction control, it's looking like he's benefiting from it. Let's see. On the exit, Matt's going a little bit wide. As we see iConnects in the pits as well. Well, that suggests that inters are working, and these two, the Ferraris, are in a party together potentially, and Steven is helping out here. Let's see, is he on the inters? Yeah, he is on the inters. Is this gonna work, the strategy for the Ferraris? I don't know. Just checking the fastest lap if I can. It's at a 43.5, so he probably doesn't have a competitive lap, Steven, yet. But
here comes Evil Dragon.
Just gonna switch over there. He's alongside Mats now. Let's see on the brakes, is he going to be able to make that one stick? It does look like he is just about. A little bit of wheel banging, but it looks like he has it. Although Matt's on the exit. Very good exit there from the Dutchman, and has more straight line speed to carry it through, and he's back into P6. And, Evil Dragon's compromised the setup definitely. But how much is it going to help him if he's not going to be able to get through people with those, very high wings, what it seems like?
Yeah, I mean, those Ferraris must have been communicating what those inters were like going back to iConnect's pit stop. But going on board, it definitely looks like it's much lighter rain than it was on the formation lap. I mean, it's very, well, compared to what it was earlier, very few drops. But, I mean, if it was like this at the start, I think we'd see most people started on inters. So I don't think it's too surprising to see some of them come in and gamble an early change onto them. But the wets seem to be performing
Oh,
okay still.
Goshike with another drop there, and we see Evil Dragon into the pit as well with Goshike. And this is maybe the time that the engineers have told them it is time for inters. Who knows? We'll have to see. Both of them in Jess with the fastest lap here, 32.8. I can say I'm a little bit surprised. Both of the guys who pitted are onto inters, so maybe the intermediates are the tire currently. Yeah, this is some interesting dynamics here as we see Ibo and Iconex come out. Iconex, I think he was just about ahead of Evil Dragon, and he is still ahead, so it's definitely not a bad tire to be on. I think you're right. The raindrops don't look as heavy anymore as they did at the start. As Ibo just going wide there, which is going to allow Evil Dragon to get through. I see Goshike ahead of Jav there with Steban, who's spun and he's just not enjoying it today at all. Even on the inters, not being able to do much damage here. Let's see, Evil Dragon is right behind Iconex now. Now these two are going to work together and maybe try and get, you know, not hold each other up and make that intermediate strategy work, or are they just going to stick it out here? Let's see if the top guys are going to be able, or are going to choose to pit here. And let's see, Maverick is coming around the final corner. And he is choosing to stay out for now. So he's not feeling it as he does do the fastest lap there. Paul is going a little bit wide to the final corner, so he's not benefiting from it. Jordan fastest lap of the race. So it's definitely getting a bit lighter. Is it light enough for Intus? I'm not too sure, because I don't see Iconex really gaining. It's Iconex and Evil Dragon is side by side. They're very slow for that corner. Robert and Jess are right now. And they are going to go to intermediates as well. I'm just curious how long these guys are going to try to stick it out at the front.
Yeah, I mean, Maverick doesn't have too much to lose by staying out. He's got the 5-second gap behind, so even if Poldpost comes in and gains maybe a second or two switching onto the inters, then Maverick's got plenty of time to react to that. So he can just stay out on the wets, which are getting quicker and quicker as the track gets drier.
Oh,
so
Jav.
I think it's Jav, yeah.
Yeah, exit the final corner. That might bring out a safety car, as we see there.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's perfect for everyone who stayed out, I can't lie. And they're going to be able to pit towards the inters, you'd imagine so. Unless we see someone staying out in the wets. I don't know why though. But yeah, Jav's just losing out of the final corner and DNFing into the wall. And yeah, that's a race over for him. And to bring out the safety car. So that brings the grid a bit closer together.
Yeah, the only way I see someone staying out on the wets is if it is going to continue raining. It's Maverick slowing right down. That must be the Delta having a bit of a moment at the top of the hill there. Yeah, I think the only reason someone would stay out on the wets is if it's going to continue raining all race, then they might just try and go to the end, because they're not slower than the inters at the moment. But the rate it's drying up, it might even get to dry by about halfway through.
Yeah, it could definitely happen. We'll have to see. Maverick in, quite obviously, and all of the top 4 in. Let's see if Ecosmats is going to double stack. We see some weird ass calls, I have to say, from him, but this time he does choose to go in. Well, if anyone is going to stay out, it's going to be Olsko, and he's not staying out. So, yeah, it is definitely time for intermediates. And I think everyone has sort of realized that as well. That means Iconex, let's see if he's going to be able to jump 1 or 2 of these guys. But I don't think he is going to be able to. I think he would have made the right call, though. But, yeah, the safety car is not helping in his advantage this game.
Yeah, the safety car's kind of screwed any advantage he got from going that much earlier. They're saying that those two just coming out of the pit, it looks like he's got ahead of those two just about. So just about holds on to 5th, which I believe is where he was before coming in. He's just going to be on a bit more worn tyres now, though. On the inters, that might not be a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't think that's too much of a bad thing. I don't think it matters that much, though. And we're going to have to see if it is... so we're having a really weird blur here for the camera. Yeah, we'll have to see if it's gonna work out for him. And if it's going to dry up, it wouldn't matter that much. If it isn't, then maybe you think, is there gonna be an extra stop? Is there not gonna be an extra stop? We'll have to see. If anyone knows, it's right. I mean, if you have very high tire pressures, there's definitely an advantage for you in the tire wear. So if anyone's done that, they definitely have an advantage in that scenario. But we'll have to see if it does actually dry up later in this race.
Yeah, I hope it does dry up. It'll throw a little bit of a spanner into the works. Maybe towards 15 laps to go, might see a few people gamble on some softs towards the latter end of the that sort of range. I think the softs can go about 10 laps at absolute most. So it'd be nice to see a bit of tyre variance if it does go dry, rather than just all being hard, all being mediums, all being softs.
Yeah, if you say it goes dry about 10 laps to go, then I think you'll get that variance between the softs and mediums at least. Any other points? I mean, I think the mediums can make it 15 to 20 laps somewhat. So, unless it dries up really soon or about, 10, 15 laps from now, then I don't think we get any tyre variance. But we'll have to see. And maybe it starts to rain again later as well. I mean, I've seen races where that happens, so you never know what the Portuguese Algarve is going to bring in terms of rain. It's not a sentence I'm used to saying, but you know what? It's the F1 game, so who knows?
Well, I've had the pleasure of driving a wet Abu Dhabi, which lasted not even a corner, so the F1 game can do many things.
Yeah, I've driven the weather around Abu Dhabi as well. It's quite fun until it isn't. You get to points where you just feel like you're not supposed to be at that speed because it's just not used to it. But anyways, we're at Portugal, and I imagine, I'm personally not too much of a fan of the intermediates on this game. Not so sure how the drivers feel about that. Just don't feel like there's a lot of feeling in the tires translated to the force feedback.
Yeah.
If you can adapt to that part, whereas with the full wet, there's plenty of feedback actually. So we might still see some differences in that. And then obviously someone like Evil Dragons could be very interesting. If it does dry up, I think he's completely made the wrong call in the setup. I mean, I do respect the call for its, for trying it, and if it's going to be fully wet, but obviously it's an approximate weather forecast, so it could not always be correct. But yeah, he could be in a tricky situation if it does dry up.
Yeah, I mean, if he didn't have such a poor opening to the race, got up to maybe like the top 4 sort of positions on the setup, and then it dries up towards the latter half of the race, then it might have worked out for him. But because he got that difficult start, he's had to try and claw his way back through the field, still only in 8th.
You see Jess in the pits. I'm quite... Oh, are there slicks? No, that's just from wing. I'm not just sure where you're going to get a from wing damage from on the safety car, but you know what? It's gonna work for her, I guess. Maybe she just realized that she had damage. Could be. Sometimes it's very light and it's just maybe worth it to pit a bit later. So yeah, still looking at the fastest lap. That Swip actually has the fastest lap with a 31.5. I'm quite uncertain how he got that. It might have been on when it went to Intus and he was just on that tire. Could be very interesting as we see a spinner, and that's Axel. Is down into P8 now. I think just gonna get by Ghost again. But he's also at the position to Evil Dragon, so I guess Evil Dragon will be very happy with that one. Yeah, very interesting that Axel's just dropped it out of nowhere there.
Yeah, I mean, possibly one of the easier tracks to do it at, and the weather's not going to help.
Okay,
but
that's fair enough. I've just seen Evil Dragon go off the track to let Axel by, and not give him a pen, I think. So Axel's back at the P7, and that's quite the sportsmanship shown from Evil Dragon, even though he didn't really have to. Maverick is now... Yeah, same. Maverick is leading here, and he's going to try and accelerate at the right time, but he can't go too quickly. He's been let loose quite late, and safety car has to be in the pit, so he can't go too early. And it's going to be very interesting, because obviously this bit is all flat, and if someone times this completely right, it'll be very interesting. Make sure to not overtake before the safety car line. I've seen a few reports of that as well in Imola, and now Maverick goes, and I think he's caught Polypus off guard here. I see Iconex alongside Energetics. And he is just going to hang on now. Let's see if he's going to be able to. As Matt is going to try and make a free wide on the outside. Has to back out there. See, I connects around the outside. I think he's made that one stick just about. And he's up into P4. And we've seen a few dive bombs there. Evil Dragon's up into P5. Getting past both Energetics and Mats. And he is getting 2 positions. Mats and Energetics still fighting it out. And Matt is up at P6 with Axel now in the back of Energetics, which just keeps on losing positions here, it looks like. Axel on the brakes, is going to be able to get that one stuck. Still side by side on the exit. And it looks like the Greek has got a better exit than the Dutchman, and he's through into P7 here just about. Energetic looking back up the inside, but not going to be able to do much. And Ghost UK is looking for the inside as well, not going to quite get the room. But he's going to try and maybe do it on the exit, and the Red Bull just keeps losing positions on and on here, off through turn 9. And he's going to have to back out for now, the Alpine.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good dive bomb from Evil Dragons. It looked like he's going to go for a second one, and I connects, both of them having good recovery drives. So we'll see if either of them can challenge the top 3, but Mavericks had a good restart, a 1.5 second gap. And he might just pull out that 5 second again that he had earlier.
Yeah, he does seem a bit above the rest here as the Haas are swapping positions here. Or with some getting past Old School in the 26.6. It just shows that it's definitely intermediate, and anyone who would have stayed out in the West would have been called a bit stupid. So you see Poldicus just struggling there for turn 1 in a little bit. Jordan not quite able to capitalize on it though. There's now a bit of a train behind the Alfa Romeo down towards P6.
Yeah, it's just that gap after Matt's down to Axel, who's got a train behind him all the way down to the bottom. The grid, I think that's Steven, who's gone off and he's out of the race. It's going to be a second safety car.
It could very well be, and it is.
Yes.
And Robertson just got a penalty there, so if he just waited out that a little bit, he may have not been necessary to do that. And this is just going to, if it is drying up, this is just going to push the dry periods much closer to now, actually. So that might, I mean, you never know when it's going to come, if it's going to come. But it's going to, yeah, I don't know how this is going to really affect anything. It does affect Maverick's lead, obviously, who's, yeah, not going to be very happy with that one, as he just pulled out that gap, and now he's going to be dragged back into the hands of Poldicus right away again.
Yeah, the rain is coming down very lightly. It might even have just about stopped now.
Yeah,
I'm
looking
really
on board with Maverick. It's just not raining anymore. Is anyone going to go for dries at this point? Because although it might not be time, it might be time when the safety car ends. Let's see. Maverick, ooh, late switch in, drive-through penalty for speeding on the safety car though. So he's completely screwed himself over. Poldicus is in. And then Jordan, Iconex, and Evil Dragon are staying out. I think Poldicus might have made the best call here. But yeah, Maverick has completely screwed himself over. Hards for him. See, Poldicus is going to be on the hardest set of tires as well. And I think Robertson will be as well. Yeah, that's not the smartest thing to do, Maverick. I can't lie.
Yeah, I mean, he had no need to speed up to get in. He's got the whole field behind him, who are pretty much limited to whatever pace he's going at that point. It might have just been it was a late call and he had to go across the track to get there, but I don't know. Shouldn't be happening, really.
Yeah. Although I'm looking at the track right now, I wouldn't be surprised if you see more cars in next lap. I can't lie, because it and given that the people went to hard, I don't think it's gonna rain anymore. Anyways, you never know,
yeah.
But I think Poldicus is in a prime position to win this, or at least be up there. And if Roberts, catch up this lap and then everyone has to pit, I mean, Roberts could be in a very good position as well. At least track position wise, he does have that penalty, which is going to hinder him a little bit. We'll have to see about that. And then obviously Evil Dragon with those wings is going to be very interesting to see. But it definitely does look dry right now. It's going to be a challenge to get some heat in those tires though, because those hards don't like to warm up normally. And I mean, now it all under the safety car, it's very difficult to warm up. And then also the track still being a bit slippery maybe. We'll have to see. I'll have to see if these guys all pit. I expect it. I expect people to pit. I think they should realize it's dry. Jordan is staying out. He's gambling on it. iConnect is staying out. All these guys are
They're all
staying
staying
out.
Interesting.
I'm seeing Maverick back in. I don't know what he's trying to do. You can't surf your drive through under the safety car. I'm not sure what tires is he going to go on to. Another set of hards? No, back on
to Inters.
Back to Inters. Huh?
I reckon they've heard something. The rain must be coming back. It has to be coming back.
This has to be, yeah. Because otherwise you don't go back to Inters. Initially I was thinking he might be trying to surface drive through. He might not know that's not possible, but he must have set the Inters himself, surely. You don't... Oh, this is very interesting. And, I mean, the Inters aren't horrendous. They're a couple seconds per lap slower than the hards, I know that much. But they're a bit more difficult to control. If you manage to control them, I mean, you could be on a good way here. And I wonder what then Platypus and Robertson's, incentives were for pitting if it is going to come back.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, especially Platypus. I mean, he either knows it's not going to go wet again, or he's been had by Maverick going in and just went and blindly reacted to it.
Yeah. Safety car is going to be in this lap. I'm not sure what to expect here. I'm expecting Platypus to come straight back for the field. Jordan's going to be leading here.
Yeah.
If we see anyone in, it is probably not going to come back. But I'm so confused at this point. Jordan is leading. He's coming through the right-hander here. And Iconex is really on the back of him. Jordan really slows it down here, down towards 95 points. Yeah, it's gone back raining. Just gone on board with him. There's some raindrops back on the screen. So I think Platypus has actually messed up completely here now. Maverick obviously still has that drive through to surf, so Jordan's all to take. And he's gone, and he is going to try and get this race win done. Let's see, Ecos Mats is getting alongside Evil Dragon, and Evil Dragon, look at that, no straight line speed whatsoever. And he's going to be, under pressure. But these guys are going to have to drive with, the intermediates. As I can expect up a penalty. They're going to have to drive intermediates in the drier conditions. So that's going to be a challenge either way. We'll have to see if anyone is going to mess up there. Jess losing a few positions there. And let's see, Poppers is already up into P10 here. Old School and Swip almost side by side. Evil Dragon and Matt still side by side here through turn 5. I don't think Evil Dragon has the straight line speed for this, so he's back out there. As Swip is getting past Old School, a little bit of contact, but I think the Aston is through there. And Poppers is going to try and get back past, but he's not going to be in a very good position here. Surely with those hard tires, it's not going to be good for him, unless there's another safety car.
Yeah, I think is that Evil Dragon looking up inside of Matt's there. This is very interesting. He's going for it. I think he's going to be on the outside now. They touch.
Going to be able to make that stick on switchback potentially. Yes, he is. But I don't think he's got that drive at a corner to, commit to it. Let's see. It is getting wetter and wetter. I have to see. Matt is going to stay ahead there. And obviously, you still have to flashing lights from the rain. Jordan setting the fastest lap of the race, 23.8. As Platypus is getting past Maverick and now past Old School, and Maverick is trying to follow Platypus through. Obviously, still having a drive through to serve. Not too sure how that's gonna go. That is very interesting. Platypus is obviously back up to P9 now. I don't think it's gonna last if this rain is gonna keep coming down. Or maybe it's gonna stay at this level. I've seen that happen before as well, where it just kind of stagnates and it's kind of in between the Inters and the slicks. That could happen as well. It'd be very interesting to see this develop throughout the rest of this session. Evil Dragon once again on the back of Ecos Mats. Yeah, if Ecos Mats can stay within the gap of iConnect, there is a potential Merc 1-2 on the cards here, and I think they'll be very happy if that happens. But iConnect doesn't look very slow either, although he has burned a lot of ERS already.
Yeah, I think there's almost a lead going for the... Oh, sorry, a battle going on for P3 again. Evil Dragon around the outside this time.
Is he going to be able to make that stick? Surely not, because it gets alongside of contact actually. Yellow flags I'm seeing. I think Goshu K has lost it. Oh, Ecosmat's almost losing it. He's into the wall. He's out of the race. Just losing it on traction. And then you see Swip going in. And we have another safety car. Swip in. Maverick in. Is Maverick going to be able to surf the drive-through? I'm not too sure. Is that... Or is he going to...
I'm not sure how it works. He's pinned. His pit crew out.
Yeah, so... Oh, he just got screwed out of that. There was a lot going on there. Matt's, I think, just losing it. Swip is onto the mediums this time out. Is it then going back to dry? I'm baffled at this point. Because it does look like it's raining.
Crazy.
This is one of the maddest D4 races I've ever seen. And I mean, I know why that camera lens is now blurred. It's because, you know, there's a bit of rain on there. We see the rain just coming down slightly. I don't think it's time for dry tires currently, but I mean, if long term it is going back to dry, who knows? He's on the mediums. Should give a bit more grip than the hards, definitely more temperature. And I think we'll see what the drivers at the front do towards the end of this lap, because that's obviously going to be the interesting question. They're in charge currently, but is it worth it pitting towards the tire? Or you know, deciding to stick it out? It's definitely very interesting. I have no clue what to predict, and we're only halfway through the race as well. Let's see, Jordan, he's going in. He's coming in. No, no. Oh, faked him. Almost faked him out there. I saw someone going in. Nope. Again, a lot of fakes here. Pullipus is back in. Now, if he goes back to Inters and Robert as well, I think it's gonna rain again, isn't it? That's what's... It's surely...
yeah.
But if it's gonna stay around this, I mean, you might as well take the gamble with the dries if you can't. But then again, there's so many variables going on there. If it's gonna go heavier, then you're screwed on the dries. I see mediums. Mediums for Paul. Hang on. So he's on the mediums. Robert has gone to Inters. Swip is staying out on the medium, so he thinks his call is correct as well. Swip's trying to get ahead of Robert here. I don't think he's going to be able to. I think he's going to have to give that one back, yeah. And Maverick is down in P13 now, back on the Inters. And obviously those guys, Robert and Maverick, have very fresh Inters compared to the guys in front as well. So that is another variable thrown into it as well. So, who knows what to expect at this point. Jordan is in the lead, that's what we know for sure. But if it's going to stay like this, and I said it before, if it is going to stay like that kind of weird dip area where it's in between the Inters and the slicks, then there's definitely a call on. But it does look like it's getting heavier, and puddles are slowly but surely forming once again.
Yeah, I mean, Maverick's still got that drive-through to serve, I think. I mean, it's just a prime example of why he should get out of the way as soon as possible, because he'd be in the exact same position as he is now, just without the drive-through. Yeah,
that's a bit of a mess up on his side, I can't lie. You might as well just serve it right away, drive your own pace, and hope it just gets another safety, or like it happened this time out. If you pit it right away, I mean, there wouldn't be any issues. Let's see, Jordan faking once again. Goshike and Energetic exchange positions. Goshike's into the pits. Right, what is he gonna do? What is he thinking the right strategy is? So all this has led to Ibo now being in P8. Robertson is back in, but also Swip is back in. I don't think the drivers know themselves what's going on, really. Ghost is on Inters, fresh air Inters. Robertson, let's see what he's going to do. It looks like a wing change as well. So, and then he's going to be onto the mediums. And Swip is back onto the Inters. So, they've basically changed positions, although Swip is now ahead because of no wing change, and Ruth had that. So, he's back at the... all the way back. And yeah, I'm so uncertain, but very excited to see what's going to happen. It does look, if I'm looking on board with Jordan and Iconic, it does look like it's intermediate conditions, but I'm not too sure. If it is going back to dry, if you know, the race engineer is saying, you know, drying up in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe these guys, Polfus and Robertson, have done the right thing. I have no clue at this point.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen from here. I've only had 4 penalties, and one of those being a drive-through, which is quite
Yeah.
surprising. But being the wet, you're going a
Robertson
bit
does have
slower
6
anyway.
seconds, I guess. So, but yeah, I'm guessing you don't really push the track limits as much. As we see Axel now dropping it. That's the second time he's done that. Um, maybe sort out your traction a little bit, buddy. No criticism, just... So you expecting to get through? You can't get through there at this point. No. You can't be doing that. You dropped it on your own, mate. um, let's see. He can't really... Is there someone going in? At this point, Jordan and Iconex are switching positions. Axel's trying to get back through. He can't be doing this. Jess is actually going off the road. You need to go fully off the road for him to make that work. Please don't do this because it's just going to cause penalties. If anyone's listening, just please do not do this. I mean, I respect the sportsmanship, but it is just going to cause penalties and mess ups throughout this whole period of time, and it's just going to cause more trouble. Especially the more safety goes, just unfair to the other person, right? So yeah, we'll have to see if Jordan can keep this late. It does definitely look. Yes, I don't know why Polipus and Robertson are still out on mediums, but who knows?
It actually looks like it's coming down harder, if anything, rather than lightening it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Such a weird race at this point. It's one of the more interesting races I've definitely commentated on, where I don't really know what's going to happen, and we still have 13 laps of racing remaining. Yeah, it'd be interesting if Jordan can keep this lead going. He's obviously, if he's on the right side of the strategy here, he's going to gain a whole lot of points on Polipus, because Polipus probably has to pay again if it is going to go to Inters. Safety is going to be in this lap, and I think the slicks are not in the prime condition at this point.
Polipus is even struggling to stay on the back behind the safety car, just now getting within a second, pretty much the first time.
Yeah, this tires are not the one I think currently. If it is going to dry back up recent, like, very quickly again, who knows, but I think he's made a mistake here, and we'll have to see. And
Ooh, it's all bunching up.
it's all bunched up, hoping we don't get any damage. Jordan is still decelerating, and now he's going. Iconex is right on the back of him. He's going to try and make a move. Energetics is alongside Evil Dragon there. As Polipus and Maverick is now in. Maverick serving that drive through, and through the middle goes Old School there. As Energetic is now down to P6. Old School around the outside of Evil Dragon, side by side through turn 1 and 2. As Evil Dragon has completed a move. Axel's looking for a move down the inside of 3, but he's not going to be able to make that one stick. Around the outside of 4, and maybe towards the switchback. Can he do that one as we look up the head as well? Iconex on the back of Jordan, not going to be able to get through. Ibo spun there. And now Axel is looking for a move once again, but Old School late on the brakes. Going to be able to commit to that. Iconex has made a mistake, and Evil Dragons might be able to get through, but again, not enough straight line speed. So he's going to have to remain in P3 on track for now. Looking behind, we see Goshu K in the back of Jess, not quite able to get a move down. Saw a few times he's trying it in turn 8, but he's not able to do it this time out. And yeah, we see Polipus and Robertson, who's pitted to intermediates, fresh intermediates, so it could be, I mean, if they can make it to the end and the top guys can't, then there's another element of strategy thrown into there. At this point, who knows? Evil Dragon is, with those wings, very much close enough for Sector 2 and 3. So he's gonna try something on Iconex. He did that with Mats a few times, and Mats then ended up crashing into the pit wall, not being able to save it. And we see it, he has a lot more speed for this part, but then we see on the exit here, and Iconex sort of pulls away, and Jordan pulls away as well. Well, yeah, this is just no contest for the McLaren to be able to get through here. Goshu K on the other hand is looking for a move at the back of the other McLaren, on Jess, who's in P7 currently. And Goshu K obviously on the fresher inters, he might be in a prime position if those inters are wearing quite a bit.
Yeah, Old School's getting a bit of a train going on behind him. Doesn't look like he has quite the same pace as the top 3 do. Is that Evil Dragon go for a dive? Thought about it. I think ICANX even had a little look on Jordan, potentially due to Evil Dragon and look on him. As Ghost
Ooh.
UK goes past Jess.
So side by side into turn number 7. A lot of space left by both drivers, good to see. I think OCK is going to have this on the exit, and yeah, a lot more traction there for the Alpine, and is through into P7. Nice move there. You see ICANX once again very close to the back of Jordan. It doesn't seem to be amazingly quick, but just about quick enough that he can hold on to this position. And maybe quicker in a straight line as well. Both drivers with quite a lot of ERS still. Evil Dragon with a lot less. Once again, a negative side effect of that lower straight line speed and the higher downforce wings. We'll see that again coming into play here. So yeah, Evil Dragon is just able to gain a few tenths here, but then not able to convert it. So ICANX on the back of Jordan once again. See, is he going to be able to make a move? But I think Jordan has more straight line speed than the Ferrari does. And he's going to be able to stay ahead of his fellow Scotsman there. Maybe down towards turn 3. He's still very close to Ferrari, but not quite able to make a move here and now. Old School is obviously he's dropped back a second, but then has kind of stayed around that second. So he's not really that slow currently. Maybe he's had to take a bit of time to get into a rhythm. And that is working out for him right now, as the track is definitely wet at this point. And at this point, who knows, we might go back to full wets. I wouldn't be surprised right now. So, we'll have to see if that is going to be any sort of case. And this train is looking quite stagnant as of right now. Just everyone following each other and just hoping someone else makes a mistake. Ghost UK is the one that tries to make any moves, as Maverick is getting through him. Ibo for P10 there. So he's looking at Ghost UK. Randy outside here of Energetics, going for a switch back here on the exit. And I think he might have this, you know. Randy outside, that'd be a very good move. Still side by side though. So we're looking at Randy outside once again of this left-hander into turn 12 to 13. Sorry. And into 14 he makes that one stick completely. So he's up at the P6. And I think those fresher intermediates are helping him get through this field. I think even Swip has that same advantage. He could be a little bit of a threat as well to a few guys at the back of that train. ICANX is now gearing up for another attempt at a move on Jordan, but not quite able to get through at this time.
Old School's managed to get back towards these top 3, so it looks like he's finally got in touch with his tyres a little bit more, and he's pushing, but is he going to be able to make a move on them? Because they look incredibly comfortable, those top 3. They've been really the top 3 performers throughout this changeable weather period.
Yeah, they look quite comfortable. Well, Old School, yeah, gaining in some place and losing in other place. I think it's just also the fact being Evil Dragon having those wings they're a bit different than the rest of them. So he's gonna gain a certain place and then lose out and destroy it. But nonetheless, Old School has created a gap with Axel here, who has the Alpine of Goshike on the back, and I think Goshike could be on for another move this lap. So he is looking around the outside again, and maybe the same move, looking on board of him. Onto the curb, it's going to be a bit more difficult this time. Maybe down towards turn 13 here, but has to back out and gets a time penalty, avoiding, I think, trying to avoid Axel, but he didn't really need to. Bit of a weird one there. Evil Dragon is on the back of ICANX. Once again, these top 3 are very close together. As he carries a lot more speed, tries to get alongside. Jordan has a bit of a moment there on the left-hand side, and he's into the pits. He's into the pits.
He's going to full wet, surely. Look how hard the rain's coming down now.
Yeah, that would be the case. Energetics has come in as well. And ICANX and Evil Dragon and Old School are all staying out. Let's see if this is the right call. Yeah, full wets onto the Mercedes here, and I think the Repel of Energetics is trying to do the same thing. Yep. So we've gone from wets to inters to dries to back to inters, back to full wets. So it's completely turned on its head, and this is definitely gonna give these guys an advantage, you'd assume. But if the inters are still usable, is it gonna be the right call? As Jordan and Poltopus are side by side out of here. Poltopus has gone wide and let Jordan back through. Are those wets gonna be the right call? Because, you know, if his inters are still usable, he still has a good 25 seconds to make up, and that is not going to be the easiest call ever. But you know, if the inters become unusable, they get cold and everything. It's a a really good call here by Jordan. Let's see if this is gonna be in his advantage this time out. Ikex and Evil Dragon now in the lead here, and Goshike still trying to make a move work on Axel. Now that penalty is going to be set back a little bit, and not quite able to, salvage anything as much as he would have loved to. I think he's trying to get underneath Axel here towards the final corner. There's a lot of speed carried through. Let's see at the front, are they pitting? Ikex is following him in. Evil Dragon has stayed out. Old School is also staying out, and then Axel and Goshike also staying out. So Ikenex, also with the oldest tires, is maybe trying to get that one done. Just checking, Jordan's not gaining that much. Evil Dragon get a penalty there, and that's going to benefit Old School and Axel in the long run as well. Goshike on the back of the Greek, not quite able to get through. Ikenex in the pits, he's on wet now as well. Let's see how close that's going to be with Jordan. Obviously they were basically side by side going into the pits. That pit exit is a bit deceiving, so Ikenex is going to be out ahead right now. But he's not really gaining on Potipus in behind. I can't lie, I don't know if this is the right call.
Yeah, I mean, those who are staying out now, I'd imagine are going to the end. There's not too long relative to go to the time that those wets are going to have to make up on them.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to. Evil Dragon, I mean, I see Axel losing it there and losing a little bit of his wing on the right hand side there. Oh, that's quite unfortunate. He was driving a very good race from having a qualifying ban, but he's now into P4, and Goshike has been let loose, and he's going to be able to hunt down these two now. This puts Old School in a little bit of position for a win if those wets are not working. This lap Jordan has gained a little bit more, but again not that much that you'd say, oh, it's going to be very easy to catch them all. So I don't know how this is going to go. Axel's deciding to stay out, so he thinks it's as Intus they could make it to the end. That's not going to be an issue. We'll have to see if that's going to be the case. Jess is trying to line up a move on Axel, not quite able to. Then towards turn 1. And she's going to have to wait to get a move done. Axel getting a 3-second time penalty there. So that's going to set him back a little bit more now. Just looking at the gap, Jordan's gained about a second since he fitted, and I just see Axel kind of extending a bit much there. I can't lie.
I don't want to say anything too early, but if those inters are going to the end, there's one person in that top 4 who doesn't have a time penalty.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that as well, and that could be a very advantageous position to be in for Old School. His pace has been very decent, has to be said. Have to see if he can keep on going and keep that that clean sheet of penalties at least, and making sure you stay within the 3 seconds of Evil Dragon as well, and that the inters are working well enough. Because looking at Jordan and Polipus, Jordan is gaining. He's not gaining that much. I think he's gaining about a second per lap on the leaders. And that's definitely not going to be enough to get anything done. Also having a moment there, and Goshike is now looking for a move, but he doesn't have enough straight line speed to compete with the Haas of Old School. So he's going to have to wait it out there. Yeah, he's also he does still have that penalty, so I'm not too sure what he's going to be able to do here. Even if he does get through, who knows? I mean, he's alongside, and he's going to be able to make that move done, I think, down into the hairpin. If I were Oscar, I wouldn't be fighting this too much. You know, you still have Evil Dragon up ahead, and he's just gained about a second on you, so it's going to be a bit closer this time out. We'll have to see. Goshike now to P2, and if he's quick enough, he's still on for that win as well. A couple less remaining, but he does have that moment out of turn 8. Going to send him back a little bit. And he did get a penalty as well. I'm not sure if these indies are still working, but the wets aren't working well enough. This is, I think, my verdict on this right now.
Yeah, I mean, can those inters get to the end 22 laps old?
That's another point in these. Like, Goshike should be able to get to the end no matter what.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah, but we're looking at the light of Evil Dragon. Old School, Axel, and Jess, who have got very old tyres. Iconex going for a move on Maverick here down in towards turn 13. Bit of contact wheel to wheel there. And on the wets, he is getting through. So, yeah, confirmation. The wets are better. Are they well enough that it makes sense to be on them? Not sure. He's about 20 seconds behind the lead now, just under. And obviously he does have a penalty himself as well. Sitting back 3 seconds, which is around where Jordan is. So that's another battle. Keep an eye on. But they're gaining quite rapidly on this train with Axel, Jess, and Swip. Especially Axel now has wing damage as well. Who knows if that is going to work out for him. Goshike is already pulled 1.7 Old School. Old School just falling back a little bit this time out. And he's not quite able to stick within the 3-second gap of Evil Dragon as we speak. Jess is stuck behind Axel, not quite able to get through. Maybe not able on pace to get through, who knows. Not too sure. Maverick is dropping a little bit of time now towards Jordan and Iconex as well. So those wets, they can work, but are they working well enough? I'm just checking once again. 18.3. Iconex is on a bit of a run here. He's looking a lot more comfortable than Jordan is on those wets. And he's going to line up a move on Swip. He's caught rapidly. He's going to be on the inside here. And he's going to be able to get through just a tiny bit of contact. I don't know if there was, but very close together once again. And if anyone, I may see Iconex being able to get up there, but it's still 18 seconds in 4 laps. And that is quite a lot of time to gain on Evil Dragon. And also Goshike, who seems to be quicker than the McLaren and has not caught up within a second of Evil Dragon.
I wonder if Mark's almost realised that those tyres he's on aren't, or don't have an amazing chance of getting to the end, and he's just trying to let off them a little bit, try and get them there. Because he was on pace for those top two. I think that's energetics at the moment.
Yeah, just going around to find the corner. I don't think he's caught up any damage. He's continuing on.
Yeah, Old School was on pace for those top two, and he's just suddenly dropped off. So potentially he's just looking after the tyres and trying to get back ahead of Evil Dragon that way instead of the penalty gap.
We'll have to see if that's the case. If because I could see as NJ going around once again. Yeah, but I mean, at this point, you'd imagine his Inters are going to be close to puncture territory. We'll have to see if that's the case. Maverick, Jordan, and Swip all very close together, and we're seeing Swip and Maverick both round here through turn 7. Must have collided there. And yeah, both of them losing quite a lot of time, which allows Jordan through quite easily. Ibo going around in the final sector as well. And Iconex is now in the back of Jess. And yeah, he's not gained any time on Evil Dragon and Goshike as he gets very close to the back of Jess now. And then inside the Ferrari goes. Let's see if he's going to be able to capitalize even more positions. But it does look like it might stop at P4 here. Unless those front guys collapse completely. Be very difficult for him to get any further than 4th place. The Axel going very wide with that wing damage, obviously. Not open, and quite a moment for Iconex, and he's into the wall, and he's out of the race. And that just completely blew his chances of any sort of race win. Is there going to be any sort of safety car? You never know. I don't think there is.
I think it's just too late.
Maverick has just flown into the pits, got on board of it, and he's got a 5-second penalty, and he's retired in the pits. I don't know why you do that. You're guaranteed points, but that seems like a bit of a rage quit there on his end. Have to see his Pollard has now been gaining back on Jordan, so Azami or just the Int is getting better again. Ghost UK is on the back of Evil Dragon though. That's the important battle here. We still have 2.5 laps to go. And I think Ghost UK on those fresher tires is gonna try and get through. See Ibo being lapped just ahead. And not quite able to get through Ghost UK currently. And what's gonna be important for Evil Dragon is this little section here of a few corners. With those wings, he's going to be very vulnerable on the straight, so he has to make the best of those corners, and he hasn't this time out. I think Goshike, with quite a bit of straight line speed, might be able to get through here. Let's see, ERS is enabled for the Alpine, and down towards turn 1 he goes. Let's see, is he going to able to get himself alongside the McLaren? I don't think he's close enough. He's backed off so far, and Evil Dragon is holding on for P1 here so far, but how long is he going to be able to do that? I'm not too certain. Looking on the exit off turn number 4, it looks like Evil Dragon has a better exit there. And Goshike is not going to be able to challenge right away.
Yeah, Old School now 3.8 off the back of these two, 3.3, so closing a little bit. Might just be that top end down the back of the straight. Yeah, it's back up to 4 now.
He's very
so I think
close.
he's just hoping for their tyres to die off, or Evil Dragon's tyres to die off.
Yeah, and then hoping maybe Ghost gets another penalty or something. And then hope his own tyres don't die off, obviously. Goshike is looking everywhere for a move at this point. There's a possibility that Evil Dragon, one of the pit stops, has lowered it from wing potentially. You can do that. It doesn't look as bad anymore these days. But who knows, as he's going quite wide there. Goshike almost hitting the back of him. And now going on to the final lap, let's see if Goshike is going to be able to get through here. Last lap shootout, and if they battle a bit much, Old School is still in this as well. We'll have to see. So going out of the final corner, Evil Dragon, a very good exit here. It looks like Goshike is too far back. Has a slight bit of a moment, the Alpine. 6/10 back, looks too far. We never know with his wings if he's going to be able to get through. He's not having a lot of sideline speed himself either. And he's having to back off so far. He's about 7/10 behind now. I think Evil Dragon might have this, you know. There's a very good chance he's going to be able to stick ahead of the Alpine here. I don't think Old School is close enough to capitalize on either of these guys' penalties so far. Let's see if that changes maybe for the rest of the lap. Jess is potentially on for P4 here, so we have yellow flags. That is energetic zone round once again. Might be losing out to Robertson at this point. Can be very close between them. Goshike still in the back of Evil Dragon. 4/10 the gap now, and he's going to have to try something at some corner. But where are you going to do that? Where is the overtaking opportunity? In the wet there might be a few more opportunities than the dry. Team Potipus and Jordan very close together as well for P6. Keep an eye on that. Let's see. Evil Dragon just looks to have this steadily under control so far. Let's see as we're going through the last few corners into the last sector. And Evil Dragon is just about going to hold on, I think. Going for the final couple corners. Goshike looking to get a title line. Maybe getting a Neve there. Evil Dragon trying to block that one off. And alongside can Goshike get alongside. Getting very close to the back of him. Get washed out wide to the understeer. I don't think he's going to be able to get alongside. Evil Dragon just about winning that Grand Prix. 2.5 ahead of Goshike. And Old School is going to be about a second off there, unfortunately. Potipus and Jordan are still fighting for P6 and 7 as they are side by side here, but I don't think the wets are working very well. And Jordan has gone deep and spun himself around there, and he is down in P7. He's not going to be very happy with that if he's not careful. Swip is still very close to get through there. Jess gets P4, very good result for her. As we see, Potipus has actually retired from the section before the line.
Right,
I'm sorry,
I think that just tops this race off, really.
Yeah, that has to be. What? I'm not sure. Potipus is going to be classified as P10 and still pick up 3 points, I guess. Just checking if there's fastest lap. Jordan still has a fast lap, so he'll be happy with that. Picking up 9 points. So the gap is a bit reduced to 34. Evil Dragon taking his first race win here, if I'm not mistaken. Ahead of Goshike and then Old School and P3. What a weird race, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that had everything other than a bit of DRS, really.
Yeah, I didn't really have any DRS. We didn't either see the softs, so I think that's a bit of a minus as well. But other than that, it literally... We went from full wets to inters, to a few drivers on dryest, and then back to inters, and then back to full wets for a few. With a lot of battles, but Evil Dragon, with that quite old setup, I think he had anyway. It looked very slow in the straight line, but very good in the corners, if we saw it from him in Japan as well. He's taking home that win ahead of Ghost UK. And then ahead of Old School, who's picking up his first podium of the season. And he's going to be very happy with that. Jess in P4, very good results as mentioned. Axel from the back up to P5. Good as well. Jordan, I think, made the wrong call. but still salvaged 9 points in total with 8, and then the fastest lap point as well. Swip in P7, I think his best result from the season, so he can be happy with that. Energetics P8, and then Rosen P9, and then Pulpus with that just mind-blowing crash at the end. I'm not too sure how he did that. There was no need for it. But he's on the P10. He's going to be classified. And then Ibo is going to pick up 2 points. And then I think Maverick is still classified, so that should technically get 1 point. But yeah, bit of a rage quit. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get it either. And then Iconix DNFing on this last corner. Matt's also the last corner. Steban, I'm pretty sure that was at the last corner as well. And then we had Jaff definitely at the last corner. So the last corner has been the culprit, which is normally fly corner in this race. And the Evil Dragon make use of that last corner quite well with those higher wings and just able to accelerate nicely out of corners with some full traction control as well. But yeah, all round, very, very entertaining race, has to be said.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of driver of the day in a race like that, where it's all down to strategy, pretty much, who pit when, knowing what you're going to do, I'd say it has to be in the order of the race fit results in terms of where you'd rank everyone. But I would like to give an honourable mention to Ibo. I think finished P11 in the end, of a perfect example of why you don't just pull into the pits and retire when it's not going your way.
Yeah, no, there's definitely an honourable mention for him. I want to shout out Jordan as well. I think just without that strategy call, there's a very good chance he wins that race. Yeah, I think that was just a wrong call, if I'm gonna be honest. And then, I mean, kind of got lucky with that spin as well at the end, just not losing that flipping, and Pulpus spinning it himself, helping as well, I guess. So, yeah, all round, just yeah. If there's a race to describe WTF, this is it. Watch your back, everyone, if you're still about it here. Yeah, I think I'll agree with you, and good to see the standards overall being better than in Imola. I don't expect we're going to see as many reports. So yeah, good job D4 on that. Anyway, any closing thoughts?
Old school podium.
Let's go. Very much congrats to him, and I think you'll be happy as well, being his #1 fan. And at that thought, I'm going to close off the stream. And hopefully next time out, we're going to be back in Mexico. And that should be quite the entertaining race as well. A lot of penalties usually. Who knows where that's going to bring. As I've been QVR Verstappen, he's been QVR Chill. And I'll see you next time.